Folks, times are a-changing. And unfortunately, some things are not changing. I'm an old 45-year-old man, and I believe I've done everything that I want to do except be rich. I've done everything in life that I want to do except be rich, and I think I'm okay with that. And as I sit back in my chair, I watch the rest of the world go about their way, and I watch people in relationships. I watch people in marriages. I watch people. And one of the advantages to being me is that I'm not a participant. I can watch and learn without suffering the wrath of society. When I say times are a-changing, the expectation of men and women as they relate to each other is changing. You know, when you look, and the divorce rate is as ridiculous as it is, and the infidelity rate is as ridiculous as it is, there's a reason. That reason is times are a-changing. Most women initiate divorce. And I guess that's I don't know how long that's been a thing as far as women initiating divorce, because laws change as far as what constitutes a reason for divorce. They've changed now. In my state, they have something, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's basically if the man can't make enough money, you have the right to divorce him. That's some funny stuff. Matter of fact, several of the laws are built for, and they're built in ways that for women to get a divorce. They're built in ways that deal with things that would lead to a divorce from a woman's perspective. Very few of them, with the exception of infidelity, even relate to what a man might divorce a woman for. Pretty vague when it comes to men. The need for one another, as far as men and women are concerned, is gone. Women don't need men to be breadwinners, because now, because of feminism, they are a force in the workplace. They now have equal access, excuse me, to a man's world. Scratch that. It's not a man's world, the world. They now have access to that. Many women are in higher positions of power. Women are in college more than men are. Men are dropping off the map. They're starting to ghost. They're not going to college. Now, because women are taking a superior role in society, the need and value for a man has dropped. Hence, more and more women initiating divorce, because they don't have to take anybody's shit anymore. They don't have to take a man's shit if they don't want to. In the past it was, if I rock the boat too much. Granted, not all men were like that. Some men just loved their wives and they were happy to go to work because the prize at the end of the day was their wife. But women were like, if I rock that boat, I rock my meal ticket. Male utility. As long as that man is useful, there was a reason to love him. As long as he was the hunter and the gatherer of the tribe, and he brought home the bacon, she was more than happy to cook it. There was a symbiotic relationship to where both parties benefited. Not the case now. Women, through their independence, are in a way phasing men out. And then you have movements where men encourage one another to focus on themselves, and they focus on getting those things from women that they want. Women, you know why men did all that stuff, brought home the bacon, went out and risked their lives in earlier times. It's because we in the past we wanted one or two things. We wanted sex, and some of us wanted children. Can't have sex with a woman without her participation, and can't have children without her participation. There was value. At its most basic, stupid, instinctual level, that's what men want. Men want sex. Now, the way that we got sex in the past, and this is an illustration of male-female interactions in the past, is that we draped ourselves in something that was completely contradictory to what we were. We were visceral animals that wanted access to your vaginas. But in order to get that, we had to shroud that in being gentlemanly. And the way that men were gentlemanly was by what the woman would allow the man to do with her or to her. You can dress how you want, that's fine. If you want to dress like you're advertising as a streetwalker, you can. You have the right to do that, and I won't take that away from you, but I have the right to judge you and say that you're probably loose. I have the right to respond. It's not you have the right to do what you want, period. It is you have the right to do what you want with the understanding that other people have the right to judge. Is that right? No, that's not right. It's not about right and wrong. It's about freedom in that way. Well, now, and women don't understand this, the powerless woman. That's not the case. Women have had a power for quite a while. And I believe that they've squandered it. Now, men don't have any reason to be decent. Because, to look decent. I won't even say be decent, because I just told you what most men are after. The physicals. But because you pretty much have, women have taken this route of sexual liberation, I can sleep, and it's cool. A woman can sleep with whoever she wants. If a woman wants to have multiple partners, that is A-OK. Understand that you dictate the pace. And if women are practicing their sexual freedom and giving it to a man without him really having to value you, then men do what everybody does. They take the easiest route to the point that they want to arrive at, which is between your legs. If you line several women up and you say, I want this from you, okay? And I might give you some sex. I might give you intimacy. But I want this from you. I have this list of demands. And you will work. You will work to gain access to me. If that man really wants that, he'll do it. But when the option is the other option, brand X, is, yeah, I'll give it to you. You don't have to work that hard. What do you think a man's going to take? This illustrates society today because everything is so easy access. Society's given birth to a new kind of man. One that can readily get whatever he wants, when he wants. So there isn't very much of a reason for a man to give the woman the effort that she wants and the time. It's the classic case of men, wanting to be treated like kings, and they're poor, and women wanting to be treated like queens, and they're behaving anything but, making those same demands, having those same expectations. but doing everything completely counterintuitive to what you want, doing everything possible to smash the very thing that you're trying to create. You do not get a good man by behaving a prostitute. You don't. You do not get a good woman by being of no value. And I'm sorry to say, a female love is very different than male love. We are loved out of utility to a certain degree. Which is why the reasons for divorce on paper are reflective of utility, reasons of utility. You know, when you think about millennials in relationships and millennials in love, you know, it's also quite a bit of a predicament. Even the biologicals are getting involved. Biology is now starting to get involved and show the symptoms of our changing romantic relationship landscape. There was a study that showed that the men of today have 60% less testosterone than men in the 80s. Well, because testosterone is no longer needed. Men are becoming feminized versions of themselves. So they're not producing as much testosterone according to science. Men are physically weaker than they've been. Unless you're an athlete. Athletes are, stronger and faster than they've ever been. But as a whole, the average Joe of a certain age is physically weaker. And you top that off with the fact that there are women who, after getting the beta prototype that they're looking for, this effeminized man, they become disgusted by him. You build Frankenstein and then you hate Frankenstein. And then the question is asked, where are all the good men? Well, they've been turned into slightly hairier versions of you. Or they've gone their own way via MGTOW. Or they're too busy partaking in the fruitful valleys of female promiscuity. What you won't do, somebody will. Somebody once close to me said, some will, some won't, who's next? And this is the route that many men are taking. I don't miss being on the battlefield of dating because it is apocalyptic. It is very apocalyptic, and I feel sorry for women of a bygone era that are trying to date and men of a bygone era that are trying to date because they never meet each other. They meet the bullshit that's in between. And after being exposed to it long enough, by the time those kinds of people that should meet each other finally connect, they've been infected with what was in the middle, what was blocking their path to connecting to one another. So is society wrong or right for taking the route that it's taken? No, here's my answers. No. It's neither here nor there. It simply is the reality of the day. It's wrong when we get mad for the investment that we made or didn't make. That's the only problem. That's what's wrong. If we're happy with the landscape being the way that it is, between women and men, and chivalry truly is dead, and romanticism truly is dead, all we have to do is ask ourselves why. We killed it. If you like what we're talking about, today was a little more opinionated than the some of the other casts, but if you like what we do, smash that like button and share with people that are of a similar ability to reason. And let's keep this empirical planet thing going. We appreciate your support. Take care.